A global survey was recently conducted by the Harvard Business School that included approximately 200 companies and 2,600 people, including Caldwell Securities Ltd. The Harvard Business School is known to conduct in-depth studies looking into all aspects of business development. Now, this includes research into how top companies find success and stay successful in the ever-changing world of business. Now, this recent survey looked into what makes a great company. And joining us now to give us more detail about this survey and what a great company looks like to them in our weekly Caldwell Investing segment is Brendan Caldwell, Director at Caldwell Securities Ltd. Brendan, welcome back to Forum Daily.
Thank you, Nima. Always good to be here.
Always great to have you, Brendan. Now, it sounds like quite an expansive survey here, Brendan. Did you by any chance find out anything surprising or interesting about your company from this research?
Well, I was pleased, and I'm not sure surprised, but pleased that year over year, the survey of our people showed that we made improvements in areas that we thought were important. One of them being communications. One of the interesting things that was covered by Harvard in the discussion around this survey and this present generation is that there is a sense that younger people are more needy. But in fact, if asked whether they could name 3 or 4 people that really helped and mentored them over the years, if you ask executives in their 60s, oh, they can list 3 or 4 names easily. If you ask people in their 40s, oh, 1 or 2 will come to mind. With the 20 and 30 somethings, they have to actually get them to repeat the question has to be repeated because they don't even understand it. It is not that the younger generation is in fact more needy, but that they are needing the things that perhaps people of my generation took for granted, people who actually take an interest in their development and their career.
Very interesting, Brendan. Now, in terms of the survey, we know it covered 4 important aspects to having a great company. Now, that includes strategy, execution, culture, and organizational structure. So can you walk us through these aspects and explain their importance here?
Well, those are the 4 that I think are key, at least the folks at Harvard think are key to having a great company. Strategy and execution seem to go hand in hand. The company needs to know what it's doing and be able to communicate that and then execute on that strategy. Makes good sense. But the other 2, culture and organizational structure, really has to do with how enjoyable a place it is to work and how bureaucratic or not bureaucratic a company is, how quickly decisions get made. So it's good to have a good strategy. It's good to execute on that strategy. But I think increasingly, particularly in this present post-pandemic world that we find ourselves, having a good culture, being an enjoyable place to work, and being able to work at speed with decisions being made quickly are of particular importance also.
Definitely, Brendan. Now, the survey also focused on talent, leadership and governance, and innovation capability. Can you tell us a little bit more about these pillars here?
Well, it's interesting, both in our company and on the global survey, the leadership always got very high marks, despite the fact it is assured that people have got complete anonymity on this survey, and the multicolored pens that I handed everybody are purely coincidental. But despite the actual total anonymity of the survey, I think people might suspect it's less than totally anonymous, but it isn't. Anyhow, having a strong leadership, having good talent, are, well, I mean, clearly important. You have to have good people, but the organizational structure is actually more important than the individual, which is why those other categories about structure and culture are more, I think, are more key than even having a good CEO, despite the fact CEOs always want to take the credit for themselves.
All right, Brendan, just about a minute left here. But when you read the survey and you had it in your hands and looked at your position against your competitors, what stood out to you? And is there anything maybe you might be proud of from these findings?
Well, I think there are, I mean, a lot of things. Again, our people feel that we have a stronger sense of our strategy and a more cohesive vision for what we want to accomplish in terms of being the most important independent investment firm in Canada than other people feel about their companies, which is good. I do think there are areas that we can work on. This part about mentoring, about developing particularly younger people. We do some of that, but I think we need to do a better job and more formalized way to really help the next generation come along, because while older guys like me may have taken it for granted, I think it's in a dislocated post-pandemic world, I think more important than ever.